Hey there, everyone. My name is Zach Weigel, and I'm the founder of a nonprofit organization called Gamers Outreach. It's great to connect with you all today. Thanks so much for being a part of this year's symposium. For those of you I've not had the chance to meet, allow me just to provide a little bit of background. About 18 years ago, Gamers Outreach was formed to help restore a sense of joy and normalcy in the lives of hospitalized families. We've been grateful to do that by partnering with folks like you. Our focus has been on providing video game hardware to hospitals. Many of you are probably familiar with our portable video game kiosks, the go-karts, and you likely have some floating around your hospital at this very moment. For today's presentation, I'm actually here to share with you a big update on a project we announced a few years ago. Some of you may remember back around 2021, 2022, we announced the idea for a product called Portal. We started working on Portal because we realized hospitals were missing tools to effectively manage video game content. And importantly, it was difficult to also connect video games with improved health outcomes. We found this to be true in the course of our own work, and it's been a point of feedback we've heard from many of you over the years. Today, I'm going to share what might best be described as a reintroduction of Portal, which we now call in full Portal Health. Since announcing our intent to build Portal, we've since spun the software into its own company. It's entirely separate from Gamers Outreach. And the main reason is because we envision Portal going far beyond just video games. This software has potential to be an entirely new patient experience platform at your hospital if you want it to be. Before we dive in, I need to emphasize a few key points. First of all, this video is not a formal product launch. We're not quite ready to announce Portal broadly to the world, mainly because there's a lot of stuff we need your help to build. What I'm about to show you is all functioning software, but the way the software gets set up really depends on the needs of your hospital. This is our vision for how entertainment can be managed inside a healthcare facility. And importantly, I want to give you a glimpse for how it might support healthcare objectives. We're building Portal in a way that can free you from ever having to buy another console again. It's also being built to do away with the need for managing patient accounts. Finally, I'll say that we believe Portal can unlock funding opportunities for your hospital, either by helping you generate revenue or through cost savings. Now that's critical because ultimately it helps the hospital justify the investment of entertainment at the facility. And it also helps the hospital justify your role as an employee helping to manage patient technology. What I'm about to show you is built in a way that provides far more opportunities and flexibilities than you'll ever likely find with traditional gaming consoles. This is a totally custom solution built from the ground up. Now, at the end of this presentation, there's going to be a survey link. I'm going to post it in the Slack channel. I'll be posting it in the chat that we have, and you'll get it also via email. And finally, it's going to be at the end of this video as well as a link. If you think Portal is something your hospital would like to have, it is super important you fill out that survey. We'll be reaching out to all the hospitals that complete the survey. Now, if you're already one of our Sandbox partners, you don't need to fill out that survey link. But if this is your first time seeing Portal and you think it would be of interest in your hospital, please make sure you fill out the survey link. Okay, that's my long-winded preface to get you prepped for what you're about to see. Let's dive into Portal Health, and we'll get started by turning it on. right, everyone. Welcome to Portal Health, an entirely new patient experience platform built around entertainment and video games. Now, for the sake of time, during today's presentation, I'm going to very briefly skim through the non-gaming features of Portal. If you have interest in learning more, I'd love to schedule a call with your hospital, so please remember to fill out the survey at the end of the presentation. While we're here on the home screen, before we jump to video games, let me quickly point out a few things you're seeing right now. This is the welcome page of Portal Health. And on this screen, you'll see we have a number of resources patients can access. This screen, as well as the other screens you're about to see, are totally customizable for your hospital. Visually, the interface of Portal can look very different from hospital to hospital. It all just depends on what sort of features you want to enable for patients. Now, in today's example, we've set up Portal for Children's Hospital of Colorado. And from the home screen, I can use a wired or wireless controller to navigate to various pieces of content. I can learn about the hospital, summon a health worker, adjust the environment in my room, or learn about rules at the hospital. We also imagine Portal providing an AI assistant to patients that can help answer questions about your facility, and it's trained on your hospital manuals, videos, and existing data sets. Now, in the top right, you'll notice a live stream player. Through Portal, you can host a broadcast to every patient room in a secure environment. This broadcast is hosted on a local server within your hospital, and it isn't accessible to anyone in the outside world. What's also great is that this broadcast runs through your hospital's existing local area network. You don't need a multi-million-dollar build out to run a great broadcast. This live stream can be powered by a webcam on your laptop or with a small studio setup in an office. Here you can see we are at the Seacrest studio, and our good friend Chris is hosting Ed Sheeran along with a number of the kids. And this is a great example for the sort of media content you might be able to share real time with all the patients across the hospital. Okay, let's move on to the video game section of Portal. This is where we want to spend a lot of time today. One of the big challenges we've noticed from our work at Gamers Outreach is that it's difficult to manage hundreds of devices across patient rooms. As a hospital, it can also be challenging to pick which console device you might want to invest in, if at all. A single product change or a software update from Xbox or PlayStation can throw a wrench in your entire plan for managing gaming within a facility. Contrast that with Portal, and you'll see we're envisioning a totally different experience. This is a custom solution backed by PC gaming. This gaming experience can be powered through an individual device, perhaps one that's placed on something like a go-kart, or with a server that streams gameplay throughout hundreds of rooms in your hospital. In our demo today, we'd like to show you some of the core features of Portal's gaming experience. Let's start with Portal Arcade. Now, the Portal Arcade is a list of video games that comes standard with Portal. Any patient can play these games without needing an account. As well, these games can be made available entirely offline. Arcade games can be played locally on a standalone device, again, in something like a go-kart, or they can leverage our internal multiplayer system across hundreds of patient rooms, which I'll share at a later time. The arcade options offer an equitable experience for your patients, especially as you work with children who may not have various gaming accounts of their own. There's not really any limit to the sort of games that can be added to Portal, pending licensing agreements. From a compute standpoint, Portal is capable of playing any modern game. We envision most of the gaming experience powered by a server that's handling the majority of compute power across hundreds of rooms in your facility. This means you may never have to replace hardware within a patient room ever again, aside from normal wear and tear. Some of you currently have demo kits for Portal at your hospital that also contain Nintendo games. So I want to mention today that in our early test, it is possible for Nintendo games to run on Portal from a compute standpoint. However, we're holding off on adding those as an option for the paid service as we navigate conversations with our lawyers and Nintendo. As you can probably imagine, we're crossing our fingers for the best as we navigate those conversations. Okay, so I've talked to you a little bit about some of the arcade offerings of Portal. Let's back up and talk about some of the other features. Through Portal, it's also possible for patients to access their own gaming libraries and friends lists. Here you can see we have the Steam launcher, the Epic Games launcher, and the Xbox app launcher. These launchers allow for patients to access their own gaming experiences for content they already own themselves. Through these launchers, they can also play games and communicate with their own friends, if that's something you want to enable. Now, it's possible for Portal's settings to be largely automated or manually controlled, depending on your hospital's network infrastructure or your preference as a staff. In one version of Portal, the service can interact with your electronic health record system and automatically recognize as patients enter or exit a patient room. In that scenario, it's possible a number of settings could be automatically adjusted, such as showing a patient's name, age-appropriate content, or setting limits to game time. If your hospital doesn't have the ability to network devices, we can customize Portal's reset function based on your preference during your hospital's onboarding, or you can have the ability to manually adjust these settings through an admin dashboard, which I'll show you later. All right, now that's a lot of information. Let's play some video games. Here you can see we're powering up Rocket League. We're using the account of our lead developer, Nazari, who is playing a little bit of the game just to show you what Portal looks like from a gaming perspective. Now, as I mentioned, the compute of Portal really happens in our mind through a server. That server is connected to devices throughout your entire hospital and is helping to manage the gameplay experiences across all of those rooms. There's another version of Portal where we can install the software on a standalone PC, again, perhaps something that's rolling around on a gaming cart. But in that version of Portal, we're limited in terms of what you're able to do. Kids can still play locally in multiplayer games. There is a world where kids can also access their own accounts as they would. But some of the broader patient experience platform offerings that we imagine Portal being capable of are not available through the standalone devices. But both scenarios are capable of playing most modern games you would want to find in a hospital. All right, that's a lot of information, and there's even more we don't quite have time for during today's presentation. I'm going to spend the remaining time we have showing you a quick glimpse of some of the other features that Portal is capable of. This is all just a fraction of what Portal can do or how it might evolve to fit your hospital's needs. This next section of Portal Health is for movies, TV shows, and streaming services. Here, patients can access your existing library of movies, watch live TV through an assortment of services, or access their own streaming accounts like Netflix or Hulu. The movie service will work similarly to the gaming service. Patients will be able to access a list of generic content or potentially log into their own accounts. Also, if your hospital has an existing DVD library, we can import that content into your server for use across the hospital, pending licensing rights. All right, I'm going to close this presentation by showing you just 3 more segments of the Portal Health platform that we imagine existing within your hospital. In this next section of Portal, we have the Patient Learning Hub. On this screen, we envision patients being able to access various aspects of their health records and to also receive recommendations for their care. From here, a patient might access data from their electronic record, view suggested wellness plans, or see courses recommended by the hospital. Now, again, remember, Portal can be totally customized for your hospital. So some of the ideas and suggestions we're showing you here might be very different than what you might actually choose to implement once we set up Portal for your facility. Next up, we're going to talk about the cafeteria page. From here, patients can order food without leaving the Portal Health experience. They can view the daily menu, see special offerings, or order a meal for delivery to their bedside. Finally, I'm excited to show you the Portal App Hub. Within Portal, we hope to provide a home for a wide variety of healthcare-related apps that may be of help to your patients. This might include things like meditation apps, VR experiences, or other fun activities you'd like to make accessible to patients. Now that does it in terms of seeing an overview for what Portal is capable of. You might be asking, who's responsible for uploading all this content to the platform, or how's it managed? Well, there's a number of answers to that question, but let me give you a quick look at the back end of Portal. This is a glimpse of the admin dashboard. Portal can be set up so that it's totally automated, or you can use this tool to make manual adjustments, depending on your preferences and the network infrastructure of your hospital. With Portal, you can monitor the patients who are active on the service, view the content of their screens, see peak usage hours, track what games are being played and for how long, or collect data to help inform your hospital's HCAHPS score. Now, I'm sure you have a list of questions. A lot of what you just saw is going to be formalized into a website and presentation that we'll be sharing early next year. But for now, we could really use your help. If you think Portal might be of interest for your hospital, I'd like to invite you to participate in our survey. We'll be cataloging your responses and reaching out based on which hospitals seem like the best fit for the Portal experience. I'd love to schedule a call if this is something that looks like it's of interest. All right, everyone, that does it for today's presentation on Portal. Thank you so much for your time. And again, if you have interest, make sure you fill out the survey, which is about to pop up momentarily. Take care.